So, I recently got back onto Tinder and Bumble. Give me one sec. I can't speak to the inner workings of any dating app. I don't have any corroborating data. However, I've been on Tinder off and on since basically it launched. And yes, Gen Z, I'm that old. And it's always funny to me how every time that I come back to these terrible apps that no one likes, the level of monetization gets higher and just progressively more desperate each and every time. And again, I have no knowledge of what's going on in the back end of Tinder, but I can say as a user, if I were going to make an assumption about Tinder and Bumble's current financial profile, I would say, based on the level of monetization they currently are using, that every single one of these fucking dating apps that no one likes are absolutely bleeding cash. But it's kind of scary to think that if they crater, what's even left at that point? It probably will be worth all of us considering what the future will look like without dating apps, which are basically the only spaces now where adults can actually let their hair down and express, I am a sexual being. Oh, God. I have to keep wiping away sweat with the AC running. There's a heat advisory out. It's crazy. It will be worth all of us considering what the future of dating will look like without these stupid apps that nobody likes. And I'm not sure there's anything left at that point. At this point, the United States doesn't feel like a collection of communities so much as 320 solitary confinement cells just stacked next to each other. The only time you ever get to go out is either to go to work or go shopping. And even when you do meet people, the opposite genders tend to just talk right past each other. I feel I have a unique perspective on this because I happen to work in a female-dominated industry. And I get to spend every single day hearing TikTok conspiracy theories such as, women can't be groomers, only men can do that. Only men can take advantage of children or women. The world could really go on without men entirely. My personal favorite, how beer is actually disgusting and men are being tricked into liking it by really good advertising. And my female friends who like beer really get a kick out of that last one. Then I come home and I enter the male-dominated social media bubble that has been crafted specifically for me by scumming advertisers, where I get to sit down and listen to how much women hate me, how women aren't necessary for society, how men are the only ones that are really essential to keep society running because they, build bridges or something. And so this Venn diagram has just shifted into being two completely separate circles, with men over here assuring one another that they're totally kings while not getting laid, and women over here assuring one another that they're totally queens while also not getting laid. Dating sucks right now. And I want you to know that if you're someone who's also frustrated about this, you're not alone. It's not just you. You are not crazy. I hope I can give you some level of peace about that. I am sharing this in hopes I can give you, no matter who you are, what gender you are, what non-gender, agender, whatever the fuck, I hope I can give you some assurances that it's not just you. It really is everybody. And to be clear, this is also an issue that exists outside of gender. It just so happens that the gap between men and women is an especially profitable one to keep nice and divided by advertisers. It's hard to meet people on both sides. So I guess the thesis of this video is just, all of us need to have some goddamn compassion for one another. Approaching women is hard. Getting hit all the time by men is hard. Let's just all try to have some compassion, and let's all try to consider the fact that once these dating apps are gone, the last space in which human beings can admit, I want to fuck, will be gone for both men and women. And what is that gonna look like? Anyway, this is more of a rant than usual, and I'm just now getting to the point where I'm gonna transition into my own opinion, which you may feel free to disagree with. And if you do, I hope you and I will have a very lively and respectful discussion about it in the comment section. But if I may, I think the biggest issue is that we are at the moment completely allergic to the ideas of gender norms and courtship rituals. And a lot of that, to be fair to the women, does have to do with those things being stacked against them and really shitty in previous decades. 100% acknowledge that. But at the same time, we kind of just threw the baby out with the bathwater rather than trying to build non-shitty courtship rituals, non-shitty gender roles. We could do that, but we just threw out everything and said, all of it's toxic, all of it's horrible, let's just get rid of all of it. And men kind of followed suit. I mean, the manosphere itself, which is, thank God, starting to implode, was, a collection of men all constantly talking about how much they didn't like women. And then women did the same. And then men continued. And then women continued. And it was just this big spiral. And I don't want it to, I want it to end. I don't want to hear how women hate me. And I don't want to hear how, I grew up with a single mom, and she and my dad didn't have best relationship, and I heard a lot of this stuff in more extreme forms through all my childhood, and I felt a lot of it being projected onto me as I spent my childhood paying off somebody else's sins. And it sucks to then go into the dating world and have to hear all of that again. That men are just violent beings, that they're just a horror story waiting to happen, to put it lightly. And it sucks. And it makes me not want to be here. It makes me not want to try. I think if I could sum up my feelings about everything, about what our roles are, about how to even approach women, where to approach women, what you're even supposed to do if you're talking to one. I'm just confused. I have no idea what to do. And I grew up around women. I work in a female-dominated industry. I know how to talk to women. But once it's a dating thing, no idea. There's no norms, no rules. Anything can happen. You can get called a creep, a weirdo, labeled as a piece of shit at any moment. Why bother at that point? And I hate saying that. Because I would love to have a girlfriend. I'd love to have a long-term relationship. I don't know how to get that. It's just confusing. I'm not angry at women. I'm just confused. I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do. No idea. I guess that's it. So, I hope this was beneficial to someone out there who might feel the same way. And you guys are great. I'll see you in the next one.